There's something I need to tell you, something you've carried alone for years. You think you're too much, don't you? Too emotional, too intense, too honest, too sensitive, too alive for a quiet people. You carry a fear that being fully seen means being abandoned. So you learn to shrink yourself just to make others comfortable. You lowered your voice, softened your edges. You tried to become smaller, hoping love would hurt less. And yet you're still worrying that even your quiet version is still out. I see that weight in you, and I'm here to talk to you about it. Because you deserve to understand what you've never been told. Somewhere in childhood, you heard the words, "You're too sensitive." Maybe it was a joke, maybe a complaint. But your heart heard it as a verdict. You felt too deeply for people who didn't understand depth. So you learned to hide what made you human. You stopped showing fear. You stopped showing hurt. You didn't stop feeling. You just learned to feel in secret. You hid your sadness to protect people who caused it. You hid your truth to avoid the sound of disappointment. You became someone who comforts others before yourself. You started trading parts of yourself for the illusion of belonging. A quieter voice for acceptance, a softer reaction for peace. A smaller presence for conditional affection. You apologized for existing too loudly, too honestly, too emotionally. You learned to fit yourself into containers that were too small. You shaped yourself into who they needed you to be. And in return, you got crumbs disguised as love. Just enough to keep hoping, never enough to feel safe. But here's the truth. You weren't too much, they were too little. Your depth was not the problem, their capacity was. At some point, you realized the real fear. People don't fear your intensity, they fear your honesty. You feel beneath the surface, you see truth they avoid. Your emotions aren't chaos, they're clarity. And clarity scares people who live on the surface. So you learn to stay half visible, half spoken, half felt. You share just enough to stay close, but not enough to be understood. You hide the tremor in your voice, afraid they'll call it too dramatic. You bury your needs before they become burdens. You hide your heart because someone once told you it was too loud. Then came relationships, the real battlefield. You loved with open doors, but they loved with locks. You gave them all your rooms, but they only visited one. You wanted depth, they wanted comfort. You wanted truth, they wanted simplicity. So you became the caretaker, the feeler, the absorber. You apologized first, you forgave first. You tried to be easy to love, even when it hurt. You thought love meant shrinking. They thought love meant staying comfortable. But the truth is, You weren't too much, they were too afraid. There's a war inside you, you feel it every day. One part of you wants to be seen, fully, entirely, beautifully. But the other part fears that being seen means being rejected. So you stay in the middle, visible, but not too bright. You speak softly, so your truth doesn't shake anyone. You under-express your needs, so no one labels you emotional. You censor your stories, so no one calls you dramatic. You hide your questions, so no one says you're demanding. You call it balance, but you know it's fear. Fear of someone confirming what you already fear. Eventually something breaks, it always does. You say something to honest ... you feel something too deeply. You want something to real ... and they pull away. They go quiet, they say, I can't handle this. And for a moment, your worst fear feels true. You think they saw too much and left. But listen, that wasn't evidence of your excess. It was evidence of their limits. You didn't overwhelm them. Their emotional depth ended early. You reached the bottom of their capacity. People like you break harder, not because you're weak, but because you love sincerely, fully, fearlessly. You attach deeply, you feel honestly. You care beyond reason, even when it hurts. You stay long after others leave, hoping the storm will pass. You rebuild bridges that others burned. You give second chances to people who ran out of them. You break quietly where no one can hear. But breaking doesn't mean you're fragile. It means you carried too much alone. It means your heart is larger than the world around it. There's a gift hidden inside being too much. Your hunger for connection comes from deep awareness. Your sensitivity comes from emotional intelligence. Your intensity is the sign of a beating soul. Your depth is a form of truth. You feel fully. That's a rare capacity. And the people who left didn't leave because of your depth. They left because they couldn't match it. Your heart isn't overwhelming. Their capacity was underdeveloped. You weren't too much. They were too small. But there's another truth, a harder one. Sometimes you cling to people, not out of love, but fear. Fear of being invisible, without someone to reflect you. Fear of being alone with your own depth. Fear that if someone sees you fully and still leaves, then what they saw must have been unlovable. But that is not the truth. That is trauma talking. Their leaving was about them, not you. Your worth is not measured by who stays. Your value is not determined by anyone's fears. I wish I could give you a perfect ending, a simple lesson, a warm resolution. But life for people like you is rarely simple. Some days you will feel too much, other days not enough. Most days you'll stand between those two shadows. Maybe someone will see you fully and stay. Maybe not, but that's not the point. The point is this: you are not too much. You are exactly enough for the right eyes. And one day, maybe quietly, maybe suddenly, you'll believe it.